Hello there. How are you today? I'm so excited to be joined by my new friend that we actually met through TikTok. Her name is Jackie Yates. She is a business starter coach. Thank you for joining me today, Jackie.
Thank you for having me, Sandra. This is so awesome.
Yay! Well, so I wanted to talk with you because we have been talking previously about freebies, downloads, things that you can offer your business clients or even potential, clients when you're doing your lead generation, and incentivizing them to actually get into your email list. And I know that recently, Facebook went down, TikTok or not TikTok, Instagram went down, Instant Messenger went down. Like so many things kind of were like, what do we do? And the biggest thing that a lot of people were talking about is you should have had them in your email list to begin with, right? So we were talking about this offline. So tell people what you do, and then we'll kind of get into that.
Sure. So, first of all, for having me. This is just a real cool opportunity. And like Sandra was saying, we did meet through TikTok. So it's just really cool how you can meet people virtually. Um, so what it is that I do, I am a podcast host as well as starting out my new venture into starting your own business. I just find that it's really not so much the actual technical side of it, but it's more the mindset, the confidence. That's something that I know for me personally, it took a long time to get over. I had all the technical stuff, bought all the equipment, but my mindset, that was what was really holding me back, to be honest. So I wanted to share that with others because I've come across a lot of people who just want to start their business, they want to launch, but they're scared and they say different things, but it's really fear. It all comes back.
Right?
Yeah. Totally.
Exactly. I mean, it might be, oh, well, my website's not ready, or I don't know how to be on camera, or I don't have enough money yet, or whatever. And it's really comes down to, I mean, whether it's the fear of rejection or people commenting, right? Or maybe even the fear of success,
Uh,
right? It
that,
actually might work.
that,
Right?
that's a huge one that I've noticed people may not realize. They'll say, oh, I'm afraid to fail, or like you say, the haters. But sometimes I really think it's the fear of succeeding because then you have to keep that level, then you have no excuse because it worked. Now I'm out there vulnerable and I have to do it myself. So yeah, that's a huge one. That fear of success. It may seem counterintuitive, but that's a big one.
Exactly. Well, so I put on the screen, I don't know if you can see down there, you can see her TikTok because we met on TikTok. So I wanted to promote her TikTok. And up here, you can see my TikTok. So I really think that it is a genuine place where people are connecting, but also really making some moves. And so we wanted to talk today about incentivizing your potential clients that, wherever you have a place to brand yourself, this is where you can put a link to whatever it is that you want to potentially give away for free, right? If you have some sort of complimentary item that you can ask people to provide you with their information, their first name and their email, whatever it might be that you think is like that golden ticket, right? That people need, that they're kind of like, whoa, she's giving this away for free. If she's giving this away for free, what does she have that's for, that is a paid product, right? So I don't know if you have a ton of things that you're thinking about giving away or making as a complimentary item, whether it's a digital download or an ebook or a worksheet or a checklist or anything like that. Are you thinking about putting things out there right now?
Well, here's the thing, Sandra. It's all the things. Okay? And that's my problem. That's my challenge is I have all of this information. I have all of these things. I am bursting at the seams, ready to share. Share it all. But part of the reason why I even reached out to you to talk about this is because, man, I'll tell you, while this is a desire of mine and I have the strategy in my mind, getting all of these little pieces down is challenging. And I wanted to talk to you because I see that you are ahead of me, and I like that. I think it's important to reach out to people who are ahead so that you can push yourself forward, right? So to answer your question, I don't know.
It's
It's all
all the things. Exactly. Well, okay, here's the thing that I have found is that you might have all of the things, but people might not want or need all the things right now. So if we're looking just in what we're doing right now, it's about to be Christmas, right? So it's about to be holidays and New Year's Eve and Thanksgiving and whatever it is that you celebrate during the holiday season, right? So people aren't looking for certain things for, like, let's say, bathing suits, unless they're trying to find like that end of summer sale, right? So they're not looking for bathing suits because it's about to be cold. So they might be, oh, okay, go, go, go. Okay, okay. My daughter's going to the restroom. She's letting me know. That's very nice. This
right.
is live. Well, so it might be that we are looking for the are looking to put out the wrong information at the time, right? So if you are thinking, okay, what does my ideal client need right now? Well, the most people would say, okay, well, I'm looking ahead, right? So I don't want to be offering things to people that maybe they kind of have access to right now. I want to be forward thinking and I want to think about the things that they're going to need, that if they get them right now, they're ahead of the game, right? So we're thinking quarter 1 of 2022. Right. So you want to get your clients ahead of the game so that they're ahead of the game for their own business. Right. So if it's a digital download, it might be, social media planning for quarter 1 of 2022. It might be how to, if you're in the productivity space, how to organize your contracts or your documents to prepare yourself for tax season, right? Because that's going to happen. And a lot of people are thinking of maybe the now instead of the next. When you're thinking about giving somebody the information, you're thinking about, okay, well, can I give them a really cool Christmas gift? And it's like, you know what? People already started that in August. You know what I mean? Right. So if you are thinking about what your competitors are doing and you're looking at them going, they're offering, a digital bundle, maybe it's something like what I have right now on my website. I'm offering a holiday sales template bundle, right? And that's to get people prepared so that when the November and December, they're already ready, right? But I started that in August, right? And telling people about it in August so that September and October, you're like, oh, now people finally see the message, because obviously it takes like 7 to 12 times of people seeing this message for them to go, okay, now I'll get into it, right? So you want to think about, what do I have to offer? Maybe even write it all down. Okay, I have a digital download, maybe it's an audio file, right? I've seen a lot of that happening. Maybe it's a checklist. Here's your checklist for how to start off your 2022 in your business. Maybe it's your ebook. Maybe it's something that you've had as a book that now you came out with like a physical book, and now it's turned into an ebook, right? Maybe it's something where you feel like it's a training series that you can now say, well, now I'm offering it as a digital download. Or maybe you can get it with a password to my exclusive, YouTube channel or something like this. So having things very exclusive is one thing, but it makes it really important to people if it's something that is forward thinking, that you can get right away so that you're ahead of the game at the end of the day, right? Because you can do all the things, but if you do all the things, you're probably not doing all of them really well, right?
That's
You're probably doing like 2 of them like really good and like 8 of them like halfway. And it's great that you can do all the things, but if you're specializing down into what you're really good at and like leaning into that expertise, then people will come to you for that expertise solely, right? They're not going to say, hey, I saw you on TikTok and I know that you're going to help me with my business. Can you be my bookkeeper? And can you do my social media management? And can you be my, my lead gen person? Like, that's way too many things, right? Exactly. They're going
right.
to say, I saw you on TikTok. You're talking about starting a business. How do I do that? And whatever your answer is what you need to either offer as your service or product or give as your freebie or download. So does that help you kind of narrow out some things?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the part that I really like is thinking ahead. Funny because you thought ahead starting in August to think ahead for them. So it's really just that forward thinking. That's actually very clever. I like that. Hmm.
Well, we did a whole holiday promo challenge and we did it in August in my Facebook group. And so if you were in my Facebook group, hey, Facebook group people. Uh, but if you weren't, then that's something that I'm actually offering as something that people are going to be able to download is those 5 days of video trainings. And so when you think about what you're offering, you can offer some sort of complimentary, kind of like an introduction to what your service or product is, but then you can have this like extra extension of that, right? And the whole repurposing, a lot of people talk about repurposing social media. And what I have done in the last, I would say 4 weeks, is taken every single piece of content that I put in my Facebook group that only the Facebook group saw, and I've started putting it on every other platform because it's brand new to every other person, right? They've never seen it. And so when you think about whatever it is that you're offering as kind of like that introduction to what you do, think about the extension of that, right? So if you're just giving them a little taste of it, right? Because you kind of want them to be like, okay, well, this is what I do, this is what I offer. But this is like the bread and butter over here that, if you really like this, you're really going to like that. So if you have some sort of idea, if it's like 6 tips to better X, right? Or 5 ways to better X, right? So you can do that as your complimentary entry, low hanging fruit kind of a thing. And then say, okay, now let's up level that, right? Let's take that to the next place because you got that down. And it's almost like sometimes people say, well, in order to work with me, you need to apply. Like if I'm doing like a group coaching program or a one-on-one coaching something, they need to be serious, right? And so if you want a certain level of clientele, right, they need to know kind of that like entry level stuff so that you're not going over the basic stuff in your meetings, right? You want them to be like, okay, you had my checklist. Did you finish the checklist? Once you finish the checklist, now we can have our one-on-one consultations or whatever. So then you're really focusing on the nitty gritty of what they need to do instead of teaching them how to post something on social media. Now, if
Yeah.
that's your bread and butter, well, then great. You can teach them how to post on social media. But if it's really about getting down to like the nitty gritty of their message, then it's not about spending my 45 minutes with you teaching you how to post, right? It's really about getting that post and generating likes and comments and shares and saves and strategically moving that message, right? And so that's what I think a lot of times people miss when they do their complimentary things is that it's like, that's great that you gave them that free information, but was it attached to what you really do? You know what I mean? Like the attachment is where you need to hook the person to say, well, now I need more of this to get me to the next place so that you're not just like, hey, here you go. That's nice. Nice. Now you can move on your way. It's like, no, now I know where you need to go from this point. So does that help you to kind of go, okay, what do I want to put out there?
Well, that makes sense. And I'm seeing that I think a lot of times when people talk about incentives, it's just, hey, what can I throw up that's free? I mean, let's be real. What can I throw up that's free that won't take away from the thing that I actually have? And what I like about what you said is there's a strategy behind it, and you're almost, not almost, you're definitely guiding the person in a certain way. Like you said, you don't want to have to sit down now and reteach everything that's very entry level that they should have had by now that you could have incentivized them with. So it's almost serving, and I never thought about it like that before, but it's serving two purposes. You're incentivizing them to come on board. Hey, this is me. Actually, three. Come on board with me. This is the style of teaching or product that I have. And I'm going to string you, pull you, prompt you, guide you along this path that I have because it's going to set you up for success. I'm not going to just throw things at you. There's a whole rhyme and reason to this. I love that. No, it's very, very strategic.
Well, and that's the other thing. I talked with somebody and I'm forgetting his last name. His name is Jono, but I'm forgetting his last name, but he was on Facebook. And he said something that was really interesting, but he was basically telling me something that one of his mentors had told him. And he said, a lot of people are scared to, actually give away free information on an email. You've got these people in your email list, and the people are really wanting to sell you in your emails instead of just telling you what it's about. This is a
Right.
great piece of information, right? And he said, I give out free information every single day. I send emails every single day to my audience. And you know what? If they don't want the free information, they can get off of my list, right? And I thought, number one, that's interesting because they're cleaning your list for you. But number two, he said, if you take your like, let's say you have a course and you take your course and you break it up into 365 different emails and you send out one piece of your course 365 days of the year, and if no one ever buys your course based on reading your 365 days of emails, he said, good for them for reading all of your emails and getting that knowledge, because you know what, you've helped them anyway.
Hmm.
So what that they didn't buy your product, but you know what, probably somebody else did. And so if you're scared of giving away, the boat, the $1 million boat in the bag, give it away, right? Because maybe that person couldn't afford it and they were getting your free emails, and maybe they did something with it, and that's great, and they probably are going to send you an email thanking you. But chances are not everybody's going to read every single email. It just doesn't happen, right? So even if you decided to take your 8 module course and break it up into 365 amazing pieces of information that are free, people aren't going to read 365 emails, right? I don't open up every email from Target, but I still keep them. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's something in there for me, for my kids or something, but that doesn't mean that you can't actually give it away, because chances are not everyone's going to see it. It's kind of like on Twitter, right? Hey, Twitter, we're on Twitter right now. Not everybody sees every single tweet. It just isn't possible, right?
Yeah.
To consume that kind of information. It would be information overload, right? People might go back in and scroll one day on your feed. And if they do that, great. That's amazing. You help somebody out. And the better thing is, they might tell somebody about you, right? Like, oh my gosh, she sends the most amazing emails. Get on her list, right? And so maybe one day that other person that they told about you, that referral, might buy something from you. And so I think the mistake that a lot of people do or make is that they don't want to give away anything. And it's like, if you don't start talking to people, nobody knows what you do, right?
Yeah, and this is why I really like what you just said, because I think it frees you from that. You said it's a strategy behind it. So I'm giving you what you need and what's valuable, but it's a certain part. So I can give you the sauce, the secret sauce, but it's going to be this section. And I'm guiding you towards something that's probably higher level, higher ticket, that will take more time, more effort. So it's obviously more valuable. But as you were talking, there were two things I thought about. One, um, if I am giving you information that's really good, but it's in book form or it's in some kind of static form, you're still going to want to connect with me because it's like, man, this is so good. No, I have so many questions. I have follow up. It's almost going to make them draw closer to you. I wouldn't throw away someone like that. I wouldn't be like, oh, you gave me this diamond ring worth of value. Okay, bye. I'm like, I'm here. I'm glued in. So I think the more value you give, the more valuable you become. I'm just as you're talking,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
neurons in my brain, Sandra. And second thing I pulled from what you just said is, and I just have a quick question for you. What are your thoughts? I heard a content creator say this. She said, be mindful of being the DIY content creator, where all of your content is, here's how to do X. So you're not only telling the secret, but you're showing them the secret. And her thought was, if you do that, then you are kind of Xing yourself out the equation. You're teaching them so they won't need you. Her thought was more, just tell them why it's important and tell them the thing, but then they would come back to you for well, how do I do this? What are your thoughts on that? Because I thought that was a very interesting concept, but just in line with what you said, what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
I think that it's an interesting way to look at it, and a lot of people will do that. They will give the idea and say, "Here's the idea," and then they will take the show and the kind of the educational piece of how to do that, and they will keep that for their program. It is a tactic, it's a strategy. I am not necessarily a how-to person. I have done, some tutorials on, template design and, content marketing and things like that. I think that if you are creating um, visuals or you are creating any sort of product, right? People will want to know how it's done. But unless they're with you, unless they're sitting right next to you, they're really not going to know exactly your process, because
Mm,
you can do a how to on YouTube, right? And you can say, this is how you do it. And you click here and you click here and you click here and you click here. But I've done that before, and mine doesn't look nearly the same as the other person. I guarantee you, I have watched from when I was a young little girl watching Yan Ken cook on TV or Julia Child, and I will watch. Yes, I loved Yan Ken. It was the knife skills. It was the knife skills. But
yes,
if you are watching that, it's the same thing. Chefs give it away. They
yeah,
will show you, and you will have it in your kitchen, and it will not taste good. It will
right.
not look good. It will not be the same. And it's the same thing. So I understand the vantage point, the perspective, but I
Mm,
do think that there's this other piece that you can't get
oh yeah,
unless you work one on one with that person. It's almost like I have templates, right? I'm actually revamping this whole template shop that's going to be up very, very soon. So look out for that. But when you look at the templates and you customize them, yes, you can customize them however you want. But when I work one on one with someone to customize specific templates, like I'm going to just give you an example. I worked with this television show writer, and she's typically in the background, right? And now she's kind of like, hey, I have a brand, right? I'm in the front right now and I'm doing my thing. But what I gave her as a template for her, social media was a workshop template, because that's what I would do. If I was a TV show writer and I was doing my own thing, I might want to teach a workshop on how to write for TV. And it wasn't something that she'd asked for, right? But it was something that, thinking in business terms, it's like, okay, this is your expertise. This is how you can sell it. This is what you want to do. This is how we make it look pretty, right? Or this is how we make it stop the scroll. And so having that outside perspective, which is different than, hey, I took your tutorial and I click, click,
right,
click, 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 and it kind of looks good, but it doesn't exactly have the vibe or the mood or the presence or all of those things that I see on your thing, right? And that's because it's not that person, right? It's not that person's creation. And so you can how to yourself into oblivion, but I don't think it's the same as when you're like, hey, I do how to, and I can give you my templates all day long and you can do them, customize them, and it's great and it's easy and it's fast. But I also do one on one work. And if you look at my one on one work, it's going to speak your language. And that's because I'm going to end up speaking your language, because I'm going to work one on one with you. And that's the difference, I think. And it doesn't make it any better or any worse, no matter if you think one way or the other. I think that both perspectives are okay. But I do know that if you take the incentivizing life we're talking about right now, that kind of, here you go, run with it, instead of, here you go, come back to me when you're done. That's the difference. Is I want you to do what you can do with this, but then I need you to come back because I got something else for you. And that something else for you is more of me, right? It's more of you. It's more of that secret sauce that other person doesn't even know that you have, because they haven't been with you long enough. And if they have, and they've been following you and following you and following you for years and years and years, then it's their turn, I would say, to turn up the heat. Because if they haven't taken the next step to reach out to you, to make the moves in their business, then they're probably in the same place as they were when they started following you on social media, right? They might be a little ahead, but what if they worked with you? Think about that, like, fast accelerator that would have happened if they had actually reached out or taken the leap or just jumped in full, feet in first, plunged into the water and said, boom, I'm taking the lead. I think that's the difference. And it doesn't make any difference if you are giving your tutorials on, I do tutorials on Canva sometimes, like, hey, they have this new feature, but that doesn't mean that it's going to look the same. Just like when I did Yan Can Cook, it didn't taste the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, Sandra, you are full of just gems. I love it. I hate that word gems, but you know what I mean. You have some really, really cool and strategic advice, and I really appreciate that. This has been like amazing.
Oh, well, I appreciate you. And I hope that, obviously we are in this accountability group together. Doing some really good work, I would say, on TikTok. And I just want to shout you out and let people know you can find her on this TikTok.com at I am Jackie Yates. And you can find me up here at College of Style. And really get out there on TikTok, start making some noise, because I think that the people who are doing it are going to see the reward, the reverberation of what they're putting back, or what they're putting into it. So I hope that you follow her, and I hope that you follow me, and definitely check us out on social media, because that's where we are grinding right now. All right, Jackie, it's been nice talking to you, and we'll see you guys later.
Take care, guys.